10 years ago. The sickening smell of idling jet fumes, that is, the sickening smell of idling jet fumes. What is in it, and how does it affect us? Next. We invited our Congresswoman, Jane Harman, to walk the neighborhood just to the east of the airport and meet some of the concerned families. Next. The following year, we had our Earth Day 2007 protest at Santa Monica Airport. That was me wearing a gas mask, by the way. A number of the people, Councilman Rosendahl, Assemblyman Ted Lieu, also had gas masks on. As next, you see they're hanging around their necks as they spoke at the rally protest on Earth Day. Next. Some of you may recognize yourselves there in the signs. Next. Along Bundy Drive. Next. And one of our local photographers took this shot of a jet landing over the protesters. Next. Tonight, we'll hear later the summary of these reports as mentioned. I'd like to introduce who had served on the panel, who had volunteered. I'll have Joan read the panels as next.
John Freunds, Professor, Environmental Health Sciences, UCLA School of Public Health. Paul Simon, Director of Health Assessment and Epidemiology, Los Angeles County Department of Health Services. Cyrus Rankin, Director, Toxics Epidemiology Program, LA County Department of Health Services. Bill Piazza, Los Angeles Unified School District, Office of Environmental Health and Safety. Michael Jarrett, School of Public Health, Division of Environmental Health Sciences, University of California, Berkeley, where he is now. Jean Ospital, Health Effects Officer, South Coast Air Quality Management District. Louis Sutherland, Fellow, Acoustical Society of America, Consultant in Acoustics. Susan L. Mearns, Santa Monica Task Force on the Environment, Mearns Consulting Corporation. Sarah Amir, California Department of Toxic Substances Control. And Martin Rubin, Director, Concerned Residents Against Airport Pollution.
Thank you. Next. Sorry. What can the community do? What we do between meetings is more important, is actually most important. Please join with Concerned Residents Against Airport Pollution to keep informed by going to www.jetairpollution.com and signing up on the short form contact list form. Today we have approximately 500 members, both locally and nationally.
Above all else, you didn't say the last one.
Well, it's there. Above all else, don't give up.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
You want me to leave now?
If you want.
Well, I don't want to do it.
As you could see, the Rubins have put a lot of energy into this and have really made this the event that it is tonight and have put the political pressure in the right spots. I want to introduce my colleague and partner in this, who's really co-hosting this just by his mere energy and support, and ask Ted Lieu to come on up and say a few words. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Good evening. I'm Assemblymember Ted Lieu. I'm sorry I was late. My flight at LAX got delayed. I'm sure you'll forgive me for not having a private jet to fly into Santa Monica Airport. So, let me start off by commending Councilmember Bill Rosendahl for the leadership he's taken on this issue and many other issues. Having been up in Sacramento and also my district, I get to deal with a lot of elected officials, and Bill Rosendahl is one of the best out there. You're very lucky to have him as your representative. And just be glad he's on your side, because I would never want to oppose him on any issue. I also want to commend Marty and Joan Rubin for what they've done. You know, a few years ago, no one outside of this geographic area really knew about Santa Monica Airport. And because of Marty and Joan's day in and day out work, you've had major television stations come down and cover it. You've had major radio stations, major press. The New York Times covered this, which is quite an amazing feat. And now we've got the city of Santa Monica that has gone ahead and banned some of the heavier jets, which is a good start. And we're just going to keep fighting the fight. So 2 years ago, when I was running for state assembly, I walked with Marty and Joan right in the neighborhood right around the airport. I remember knocking on one of the doors, and after Marty explained who I was, the person said, "Hang on." He went back to his kitchen and came back, and he gave me this black ball. And I looked at this black ball, and I said, "Well, what is it?" He said, "It's a lemon. It's a lemon that had been covered by the black soot from the jet exhaust." And from that day on, I knew just how bad it was with the jet exhaust blowing into people's homes. And so the first year I was in the assembly, I carried a bill to address some of the pollution concerns and collect the data. We got the bill all the way through the assembly with the help of Marty. We then went to their Senate committee, and we failed in the first policy committee. So last year, we brought another bill. We tried again, and again with the help of Marty, we got it through the assembly. We got it through the Senate's first policy committee, and then unfortunately it was held in Senate Appropriations. So this year, I'm gonna bring a bill again, and hopefully we can go one more step further and get it to the Senate floor. And so my staff says, you know, there's this big budget deficit in this state. And I said, I don't care. We're bringing a bill on Santa Monica Airport. The people there are facing issues of health and of potentially life and death. And it's so very important. And I'm committed to doing that, and look forward to working with all of you. And one of the things that you could do that's going to be very helpful is I am certain that our governor flies into this airport every now and then. You may just want to write him a letter, or his staff a letter, or his district office a letter, and tell him about what you are experiencing, what your neighbors are experiencing, how just awful the air and the sound and the safety is around Santa Monica Airport. And that, I think, would have some effect. So look forward to working with all of you, to working with Marty and Joan and the committee, as well with Bill Rosendahl, as we continue to fight this fight and to make sure that we keep Santa Monica Airport. Well, we got to drastically reduce flights there, and to at least reduce the pollution at Santa Monica Airport, and to do the best we can in fighting the fight. Thank you.
Well, I can tell you this flat out. Without his leadership and support in Sacramento, we would be nowhere on this issue, because there's very little we can do at the local level. It is a state issue, and the state leadership that Ted has given us has been phenomenal and supportive. I'd like to also announce some of the other elected official representatives who are here in the room, representing their elected that obviously is also concerned with this. First, I spoke with Jenny Arpaza, who's the state senator, and she will be Ted's partner in the state Senate, so that it gets to the state Senate and can go into that group with the energy and support of a state senator that frankly also personally has a cancer issue. And I would like at this very moment for her staff person to come on up to the mic and introduce herself and let us know, Veronica, and read to us a letter that I know that Jenny wrote today, a few hours ago, after she spoke with me and heard about the importance of the meeting. And I can't tell you how grateful we are that you're here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening. On behalf of Senator Jenny Arpaza, who is in Sacramento, I do have a letter to read on her behalf. So this is coming from from her and her voice. I strongly support the efforts of concerned residents against airport pollution because I too am concerned about the health impacts from the jet